All right, good evening. I call this meeting to order. It's the regular City Council meeting of January 22nd, 2018. The time is 7:30. Can we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Bliss.
I'm here.
Councilman Corbett. Councilman Gettings.
Here.
Councilor Grafstein. Here. Councilwoman Scott. Here. Councilman Soltis.
Here.
Mayor Hartwell.
I'm here. Could I please have a motion to excuse Councilman Corbett from tonight's meeting?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Mrs. Grafstein?
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The motion carries. All right, would you please rise for an invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? We're thankful for having the opportunity to meet together here tonight, and we ask most humbly for a blessing of our gathering. Brighten our eyes with greater understanding, enrich our hearts with compassion and courage, and again receive our gratitude for this opportunity of fellowship. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? All right, we have a couple presentations tonight. The first one are the holiday awards for 2017. Let's see, I believe we'll begin with a report from Joe Vitale Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. As Council is aware, the fiscal year 2017-18 adopted goal plan realized the return of the Summer Beautification and Holiday Light Award programs. This city goal focuses on giving recognition of and an incentive for city pride, which includes an emphasis on landscaping and home improvements during the spring and summer months and spreading cheer during the holiday season. Even though this program has been on a hiatus since 2009, the Senior Advisory Board picked up right where we left off. First of all, I'd like to give some thank yous to Councilor Grafstein. Without you, our recommended list of homes to go and see would have been much, much smaller. So we appreciate that. To the Senior Center Advisory Board, we really had an enjoyable night. We went out for a couple of hours and looked at all of the homes on our list and saw many other homes along our travels. We had a great time. To Jennifer Cowan, the Senior Center's coordinator, her staff, and the staff of DPS for their involvement in this program. Our winners, Jim and Patricia Goatley of 26307 Osmond, who are with us tonight in the audience, and Dennis and Deborah Misch of 28750 Park Court, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight. And last but certainly not least, all of the residents who decorated their homes over this holiday season. We saw a lot of beautiful homes, and we wanted to tip our caps to them as well. We have a quick PowerPoint of the two co-winners this year. Then I'll cue the PowerPoint. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Will the Goatleys please rise and accept your certificate of praise and the spoils of your victory? Right here. Thanks for all the time and energy. It really, brings joy to the community. Thank you very much.
Pat, looks beautiful. Jim, good job.
Congratulations. It's hard to believe it was the same house we were looking at from different angles. Beautiful.
Hi, Jim. Good to see you.
Well, thank you again. I hope you continue this year after year. The next presentation tonight is a proclamation for Random Acts of Kindness Week, which will be February 11th to the 17th. Mr. Myers, do you have a report?
I'd be happy to read the proclamation, Your Honor. Whereas our daily news is dominated by tragic stories of crime, violence, and disaster, often leaving citizens with feelings of despair and helplessness. And whereas Random Acts of Kindness Week is enacted to encourage Madison Heights residents to commit conscious acts of goodwill toward one another as an affirmation to the goodness and generosity of the human spirit. And whereas by performing small acts of kindness during this week, we have an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the far-reaching effects we as individuals can have on the world around us. And whereas it is time for everyone to promote and exemplify kindness in our daily lives and make an effort to be better humans. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council proclaim the week of February 11th to the 17th, 2018, as Random Acts of Kindness Week in Madison Heights, and urge all citizens to join in celebrating the week with acts of kindness, patience, and understanding. Remember, kindness is an art form. Display your masterpiece today.
Thank you. Would Councilwoman Scott please accept a proclamation from the city and maybe share some words about this?
As you will find out if you have not participated before or done a random acts of kindness for someone else, you will find that it is contagious. And the city, if you go on our website, they do have a whole sheet that you can run off just on a simple piece of paper, and you can cut them apart. They're little coupons about business card size. And I'm suggesting that when you do a random acts of kindness, that you leave that for them, because then they know that you're a part of something that we have here in our city. And they will then take that coupon and maybe give that to someone else by doing another random acts of kindness. I think it really makes a point, and they still don't have to know who you are. A lot of times we will go into a restaurant and we see, usually I pick an older person who's sitting by themselves with nobody to eat with, and we ask the waitress to come over, and then we'll take the bill, and then she will leave the coupon for them, and they still don't know who we are, and it's fun to see them trying to figure out who in the heck in the restaurant is doing this. It's just a really fun thing. There's a lot of suggestions you'll find on our website. It only takes, an effort of maybe a few minutes to think of that and to do that, and it does travel fast, and I think that kindness breeds other kindnesses. It was done to us 23 years ago, and my husband was excited about it, and I was too. Somebody had paid for our dinner, and we had no idea who they were. And so he suggested, because I'm on council, maybe I'll have some influence and be able to see if we can get that done through our whole city. So we did. And at some point it became very successful. We were featured in Life magazine. One of our hairdressers companies went into a nursing salon and did the hair for all the residents one day. And that was featured in Life magazine, if you remember the Life magazine. But so we've run really a lot of infamously type things that we've done for us, and I would like to see it continue and everybody participate, because it really makes you feel good That's the part you don't expect, but you'll feel so much better that you participated and see the joy on someone's face when you do something nice for them. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for sponsoring this every year for us.
Great, thank you very much. The next part of our meeting is the meeting open to the public. If anyone would like to address City Council, now's the time to do so. It's voluntary, but it'd be helpful if you could give your name and address and any affiliation. Good evening.
Hello, Gloria Moore, 27368 Dartmouth, affiliated with Friends of the Madison Heights Area Senior Citizens. Three things. One, I want to apologize to Brian for, I had was moaning about the fact that none of the campaigning was down south of 11 Mile, and I was making a remark about who all was had been in the Madison Park bowling alley, and I found out that he was, and I stand corrected. I'm sorry about that.
I accept your apology. Thank you.
And the other thing is, there's a on Facebook, you put up what the Planning Commission had decided on, a proposal about putting residential lofts in where the DDA had put in industrial. So it's, I do appreciate the change, and thank you for that change.
That hasn't been changed. It'll be about a year of review and fine-tuning the language, so you're welcome to a planning commission in the future. Okay. Number 3?
3 is, I finally got confirmation from Ron Butler. We're having our meeting, our third Tuesday meeting on February 20th at Wilkinson Middle School, where beverages and snacks are on us. Everyone is welcomed.
Very good. Thank you. The meeting is still open to the public. Would anyone else like to address City Council on any subject? All right, no one else has asked to be recognized, so we'll go to the next portion as communications. We have one, item C1. It's the use of Civic Center Park for the 2018 Walk for Life, a fee waiver request. Mr. Myers?
Yes, Your Honor. CareNet has requested to use Civic Center Park to hold their 2018 Walk for Life on Saturday, May 12th from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., which includes the use of Pavilion C. Staff and I recommend that Council approve the requested use of the park and Pavilion C, subject to compliance with Council's policy on uniform insurance requirements for special events. And as the Mayor just noted, a fee waiver is also being requested.
Thank you. What's the wish of City Council?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I move that we allow CareNet the use of Civic Center Park for the 2018 Walk for Life, as well as Pavilion C, subject to compliance with Council's policy on uniform insurance requirements for special events. And I also ask that we waive the fee.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Mrs. Scott?
Second.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Bliss, seconded by Councilwoman Scott, to allow CareNet the use of Civic Center Park and Pavilion C for the 2018 Walk for Life, subject to Council's policy on uniform insurance requirements for special events, and additionally to also waive the fee. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The motion carries. Next will be reports. We have one item, D1, from the Deputy City Manager. It's budget amendments. Mr. Myers?
Yes, the state of Michigan's budget law requires that any budget amendments be approved by council. The budget amendments are submitted to ensure that our fiscal year 2018 budget is in compliance with state law, and if council concurs with the recommended amendments, the appropriate action would be to approve the implementation of the amendments and appropriate the necessary funds. And I would note that this would require a 5-vote supermajority as an appropriation.
Thank you, sir. What's the wish of City Council?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please.
I move to approve the implementation of the two fiscal year 2017 through 2018 budget amendments and appropriate the necessary funds.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion was made by Councilwoman Scott, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Bliss, to approve the implementation of the budget amendments for fiscal year 2017 to 18, and also to appropriate the necessary funds. Any discussion from council? All right, let's vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. All right, we can skip ahead to item G1, ordinances. This will be the second reading of ordinance number 2124, which is the new polling location for Precinct 2 and a polling location name change for Precinct 5. Mr. Myers, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On January 8th, the council approved ordinance 2124 on the first reading to amend section 10-1B of the city code to designate the Korean First Central United Methodist Church located at 500 West Gardenia as the voting place for precinct number 2, and as a housekeeping matter to change the name of the precinct 5 polling location from Shane Halls to Madison Elementary. Staff, the city attorney's office, and I recommend the council approve ordinance 2124 on the second and final reading.
Thank you. What's the wish of City Council?
Your Honor,
Yes, please.
I move that we approve ordinance 2124 on the second and final reading.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Gettings.
Second.
Thank you, sirs. Motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Bliss, seconded by Councilman Gettings, to approve on second reading ordinance number 2124. Is there discussion? Okay, all in... Yes, sir?
Should we do them separately, Mr. Mayor? Or
That's,
Your Honor, one motion would be sufficient.
That's great.
the plan is to do it with one motion.
That's good.
Okay. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. There's no unfinished business tonight, so could I please have a motion regarding the minutes of January 8th?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I move that we adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of January 8th, 2018 as printed.
Yes, sir. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Soltis.
Second.
Thank you. Motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Bliss, seconded by Councilman Soltis, to adopt as printed the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of 1/8/18. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The motion carries. Okay, for next will be appointments to our city boards and commissions, and I see there is a woman on the Historical Commission, Pat Ross. She'd like to be reappointed to a 3-year term. Could I please have a motion from council?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please.
I move to reappoint Patricia Ross for a 3-year term on the Historical Commission expiring February 28th, 2021.
Very well. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Grafstein?
I second that.
Thank you. Motion was made by Councilwoman Scott, seconded by Councilor Grafstein, to reappoint Patricia Ross to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term expiring February 2021. Is there discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no. The motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Ross. I don't see any other appointments. Were there any applications that council had? All right. We don't have an executive session, so before we adjourn, I'd invite any closing comments from members of the city council and staff. And tonight, let's begin with Mr. Bliss.
Sure. Well, congratulations to those who won our, I guess, newly reenacted old Holiday Lights contest. I looked at those pictures and drove around while lights were still on, and just makes me feel like I need to up my game. I've got 3 kids, 8 and under, so I have an excuse for now. But my lights do not come anywhere near comparison. And there were entire streets and courts that were so well lit up this year. I mean, it was a really, really good year to bring this back with all of the effort that everybody put in. And so congratulations to the winners. Thank you to everybody who put lights up. It's great to drive down the street with my kids and have them in awe of all of the lights. I mean, we probably spent a good 4 to 5 hours through the winter just, driving around, looking at lights. And other than the cost of guests, that's basically free entertainment. And so if I can get all my kids in the car and have them, enjoying looking out the window, how awesome is that? So thank you to everybody involved. Also, really, really excited. I want everybody to stay tuned to the city's social media page here shortly. The new Arts Board, we're going to be announcing a photo contest that will allow anybody who's taken a picture since the city was founded to be able to submit those to a new calendar done by the Arts Board. And so we're going to have a big gala attached to it. There's going to be individual programs and events that'll be tied towards getting new pictures. We'll have photographers come in and even teach a class. There's so many really cool things about that. But the kicker is going to be making sure that everybody who takes pictures, has pictures of our city, make sure that they submit their entries into this event because it's going to be a really fun time, and then that's going to enable us to take those pictures and do more with them than even just a calendar. We're envisioning things like mural walls, even here within City Hall, that would utilize those pictures from our citizens and just really highlight that. So it'd be the first major project of our new Arts Board, and to say that the board is excited about it would be a significant understatement. So please stay tuned for that. Definitely participate, spread the word, and I'm really hoping we can get a couple of cool older photos as well to be able to tie in to some of the city's landmarks and things. It would be really, really great for us to have that represented in the calendar as well. So just please stay tuned for that, and that's all I have tonight.
Very good. Mr. Gettings?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just 2 things. Congratulations to Jim and Pat. We were classmates together at Madison many moons ago, but you guys did a great job in your yard. It looked fantastic. And Mr. Joe, do we have any recreation openings for basketball? Just so to put one last push. Are the teams all filled? Okay. So it's a good program if anybody wants to get involved with their kids. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. City Attorney, Mr. Sherman?
Couple things quickly, Mr. Mayor. First, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Goatley and to the Mishas on their awards. It was hard to believe we were looking at the same house from different angles with the decorations. Both homes were beautiful. And since the council adopted a proclamation making February 11th through the 17th a random act of kindness, I wanted to report a random act of kindness I witnessed, which was really kind of cool. I walked into a restaurant where they had a carry-out area, and there was a young boy standing there, maybe 12 years old, going through every one of his pockets, pulling out pennies and nickels and dimes. And next to him happened to be one of the owners of Balfour, the restoration company, who happened to be a friend of mine. And he said to the cashier, he said, whatever this young man's ordered, I want you to put it on my tab. And he paid for his bill. And afterward, I went up to the young man and I said, I just want you to know who that person was that paid for your sandwich. And he was familiar with the company. But what struck me the most about it is as soon as I told him who the person was, he said to me, he said, this was a beautiful thing, and I'm going to pay it forward. So that's what it's really all about, and to be kind of a bystander watching it was very cool. And I just thought I would mention it to the group. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. City Manager, Mr. Myers?
Only that I want to congratulate the winners, the Goatleys and Mishas, and also all the nominees. And thanks to Roslyn Grafstein for giving us those names, and the senior board for taking the time out and putting the effort in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. City Clerk, Ms. Prince?
No comments this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Grafstein?
I just want to say thank you to the Goatleys and to everybody who participated and to everybody who forwarded on addresses to me so I could send them on to Mr. Vitale. Thank you.
Great. Mrs. Scott?
Yes, thank you to the Goatleys for beautifying our city this Christmas, and to the Mishes, too. That took a lot of work, I know. And I wonder if that Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse was supposed to represent the two of you, because they were cute. Yeah. All right. Now, I know last week one of the people in the audience approached us and said, we need to do something here in Madison Heights to commemorate winter. Well, we do have something coming up this Saturday, and that's the contest, Do You Want to Build a Snowman? This is sponsored by the Downtown Development Authority and the Chamber of Commerce and competition, and it will be this Saturday between 1 and 3. But you can come at any point. The lot will be north of Keys Car Care, which is 27400 John R. So a little bit north of 11 Mile Road on the east side of John R. They've been quite active in our Downtown Development Authority, but they're challenging everybody to build a snowman, and they would like it done by families. So they're going to accept up to 14 families. And of course we hope for snow that day. If we don't have snow, then they're going to do it a week later on February 3rd. But for this Saturday so far, January 27th, between 1 and 3, you're welcome to come and try and build a snowman with hopefully the snow that's going to be on the lot, and make the most creative one you can. There are rules that you need to follow. But the other thing is should increase a lot of people there, because they're going to serve hot cocoa and cookies for all participants and all the spectators that come. So come and bring your camera, and let's make this an annual event. I think it sounds great. My new appointment on the Senior Advisory Board, I just want to report how pleasant it is to be associated with the seniors and a hardworking group. And I wanted to announce two things that they're having come up. In February 20th, they're going to have a Senior Center chili soup cook-off. So if you're looking for something to eat that day, it's going to start at 10:30 a.m. So this will make a good lunch. But they're going to vote on who they think has the best chili, best tasting chili. So you just show up there and fill out an entry form if you would like to be part of that. And if you want to be one of the bakers, then you're going to show up by February 13th and register the fact that you want to be involved in that. And then bring your dish that day. Also, Punchki Day, they've got such a bargain there, 75 cents for each punchki. I know they'll be brought in, probably from Hamtramck. And so you can stop in there on Tuesday, February 13th. But I would suggest you get there earlier because it's tendency to run out of those because they're so well liked. Okay, and I was very pleased to see that Madison Heights had won a grant for Wildwood Park improvements. This grant was supplied by the DNR in the state of Michigan. It was for $75,000. And it would improve Wildwood Park, which is 26476 Delton, a little bit east of Madison High School, off of Gregg, and south of 11 Mile. And it's a development of a new walkway and playground equipment. An existing parking lot will be improved with the addition of an accessible parking spot. So I think that's a great way to put our money that we get for grants. And please stop by there and use that. Also, I want to remind everybody that last week was a special occasion. On January 17th, 1955, the citizens that lived in this area were actually Royal Oak Township residents. They voted to become a city. And so we became a city. It took a year to get that charter in place and get that all approved. But on that night, the citizens voted to become a city, January 17th. So this is the 63rd year of us becoming a city.
That's
all,
great.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for concluding with that. Mr. Soltis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think, unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, the VFW hall was sold.
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
So I'm sorry to see them go, but we are gaining. What's the barbecue restaurant?
Woodpile.
Woodpile barbecue. What, I'm sorry, Woodpile.
Woodpile.
That's the one in Clawson.
Yes.
So we are gaining a Woodpile barbecue place. I guess it's really good. So, but it's unfortunate VFW had to close their doors, but at least they sold the property. So that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of development going on in the city. Jim Schaefer from the Planning Commission gave a report to Planning Commission about some of the happenings around the city. And so, yeah, it is official. It's public. The VFW hall was sold to a restaurant, and they want to open fast. It would be a barbecue restaurant on 11 Mile. It's within the downtown district. There's some issues we got to work with, but we're excited to have them targeting that neighborhood. And I know some of the council members have been to Madhouse Bar and Grill up at 14 and Stevenson. That place is pretty nice. And then the former Dual Art Supply up here on John R. Another art supply company is going to come in. And then just down the road a little bit on John R., what used to be that old Laser Quest or Zap Zone is going to be one of those escape rooms. So that could be fun for some family or friend activities. And then it is official, but it's still way early. We don't know the details. But the Kmart, the owner of Kmart, signed a purchase agreement to sell that piece of land. A lot could change. A lot of the details are still forthcoming, but you can celebrate that steps have been made to redevelop Kmart. So we'll be sure the community is well informed, and if there are any public hearings, we'll be sure the public knows about it. Okay, on a very somber note, Police Chief Corey Haynes and I were invited to a press conference at Oakland County a week or two ago because the county had formed a task force on human trafficking. And so the state attorney general showed up, our county sheriff was there, and about a dozen police chiefs and county commissioners. And we looked at the scourge of human trafficking in Oakland County. And unfortunately, Madison Heights is one of those cities that attracts this element of crime. And it happens to be because we have so many hotels, as Councilman Soltis has mentioned before, and our access to the freeways. And it was one of the only times I was ever just embarrassed and upset to hear the words Madison Heights come up in a conversation with human trafficking. And so it definitely was a call of action to me. I looked at Chief Haynes and he said, well, yeah, we've been fighting this for 2 years with council doing undercover work with FBI and now expanding to the Troy Police Department. Thank you, council. But it really, for me, was maybe a personal or political call of action that, we have to do something. And so, the counties reached out to us. The attorney generals reach out to us. So if there's anything we can do, even if it's something small, where the new mayor of Lathrop Village reached out to me and said, Brian, we could do something as small, maybe we already do this, I don't know, but putting bars of soap in the hotel rooms with a phone number for if any victims of human trafficking can call to reach out. But we need to do something. I know council understands this, but it was just so impactful to see this, and then to have the chief law enforcement officers of the state of Michigan mentioning the dangers in our community. I hope we can do something, whether it's just a public proclamation that this is a concern and we're going to work on it, or maybe collaborations with other cities, other agencies, and the state. We have to do something. So that's all. Maybe that could be part of, I don't know, a budget or just an ordinance or a proclamation, something, I don't know. We can work on something. We're not going to solve it overnight. But thank you for your time. Congratulations to the participants in the holiday light. Congratulations to the Goatleys and the Mishas. Thank you for coming tonight, Goatleys. Is there any other business before City Council? All right, hearing none. Good evening. The meeting's adjourned.